Are you guys familiar with Bryce Underwood?
No.
No.
Bryce Underwood.
Yes. So Bryce Underwood is the number one quarterback prospect for the class of 2025.
Has he committed?
Yes. And that's what we're going to get into.
Okay.
So for the last, it seems like better part of 2 years, he has been committed to LSU.
Okay.
You know, had all the NIL money lined up and everything like that. And it seemed like a done deal. And then in the last few months, Barstool CEO and owner Dave Portnoy, who is a huge Michigan fan and financial supporter, along with a real estate mogul in Michigan, who has no affiliation with the university, is just, I believe it's his wife, went to Michigan. They teamed together and offered this young man a 4-year contract worth between $10.5 and $12 million based on incentive and performance.
So this is like legal via NIL rules?
This is legal. This is all above board.
Okay.
For him to go to
Michigan?
To decommit from LSU and commit to Michigan. So
That's so crazy.
What is y'all's opinion on the NIL situation and the subject of financial compensation for collegiate athletes?
I haven't really paid a ton of attention to it since it's happened, as far as like dollar figures and years and things like that. I know that kids are getting stolen from other programs left and right. Ever since it's happened, it's just been the Wild West as far as recruiting top players go and spending the money, because obviously the big teams got the money to spend. And I originally thought a fair shake would have been like the advertising dollars, the jersey sales, the video game stuff. You absolutely should be able to make money on that. But after that, you know, it's stopping at the water's edge. As far as like giving these kids contracts, there's already a fundamental imbalance between teams in their own divisions and conferences, and you're going to continue to fuel this dissonance between good teams and bad teams and teams with money and perpetuate the narrative that's been going. So I don't care for that, for paying the players to play there. I think once you're at the school and you're going to make money off of like the things that I said, advertising and marketing dollar stuff in that nature, absolutely you should be doing that. Let's not also forget that a lot of these kids are going to top tier universities where tuition, it could buy you a nice house in some of these places.
The NCAA is in a pickle in regards to this one.
The NCAA is a pickle.
They are a pickle. They've already had their hand forced when it comes to the NIL money to begin with. And the argument behind the athletes getting the NIL money is pretty sound, in the sense that you're going to make so much money off of my name and likeness as an organization, between ticket sales and advertising on your own, you know, so I should get my share of it. But furthermore, the money does not suggest that we are in an amateur sport any longer. So the money should be doled out as if it were the professional sport that it is. If Mr. Portnoy wants to offer this money and the young man wants to accept Mr. Portnoy's money, more power to him, I guess.
So the University of Texas does have the most money contributing to the NIL funds of any university.
As they should. That makes sense.
The top 5 is all within $1 million of each other. So there's nobody blowing anybody out of the water as far as that's concerned. My thing on it, let's pull back the veil a little bit. And
let's shear the sheep.
Then let's just be honest with ourselves and with each other about the nature of competitiveness that we've had in college football, the rah-rah win one for the Gipper spirit that we claim that college football has been about forever.
That's
and
gone.
really has not been a part of college football in my lifetime.
Yeah.
And certainly not since this big money and all these big donors and everything that we're talking about as far as these athletes getting paid has been happening forever. And it's just being disclosed publicly now and being above board. The same universities that are leading the same universities that are leading these NIL money fundings are the same universities that have always had all the money, that have always done whatever is necessary to acquire the best talent.
Yep.
I don't think it's perpetuating anything as much as it's just being honest about what the nature of this really is. And the problem that we're having now is the NCAA has been so opposed for so long to paying these athletes that now that it's their hand is being forced on the subject,
the pickle,
they're basically just walking away from the issue entirely. There is no enforcement of any kind for NIL. NIL in itself sounds great, but there's no qualifications for what NIL money can be used for or what qualifies as NIL money. And so you funnel Dave Portnoy's money or whoever. What are we doing at this point?
Yeah. Obviously, the way that the NIL is going now, they're just pretty much just funneling them straight into the kid's pocket.
Or they're funneling it into the pocket of the business that will then, acquire the rights to their NIL contract or whatever. It's all the same reshuffling of money that it's always been. It's just a little more honest with the public now. And the players get a share, a bigger share, and a more honest with the government share.
Dave Portnoy was recently in Texas during the state fair, and he's kind of known for this like one bite pizza review.
Yeah, I watched one earlier today. I got an 8.2. I don't know what it was, but it looked like a good pie.
He tried a Fletcher's corn dog.
I remember.
He didn't put mustard on it.
And
he thought that it was weird that one would put mustard on a corn dog.
Yeah, he was bum-fuzzled.
Yeah, if you want to take that man's money and go to Michigan, more power to you.
No mustard on the corn dog?
It's weird because
what?
Your typical 1-2 punch on the hot dog is ketchup or mustard.
Yeah.
So why would you be so confused it would go on a corn dog? It's a hot dog where the bun just wraps all the way around.
You just put that good old French's mustard on top of the corn dog and heaven.
Yeah. I like to dip mine in nacho cheese.
What?
Yeah.
Like Rico style nacho cheese?
Yeah.
What?
Yeah, that's how
next level.
That's how I like to get down.
In summation, it's a shit show that's always been a shit show, and y'all are just now finding out about it publicly. And also, I think Bill Belichick's about to be redirecting some of that basketball funding.
Yeah, I think so too. They definitely have basketball money.
Yeah, he about to go shopping. Start the show.
Welcome back, everybody, to the Ranger Zone.
My God, we did things.
We sure did. We are three permanently obsessed Texas Rangers fanatics, only semi-qualified to dish out our takes like hot cakes from the fans to the front office. I am Robbie Belusic.
I am Chris Young.
Wait, what?
Wait, no, I'm sorry. I'm Chris Green.
I don't even know who I am anymore. I am Tony Cook.
I am Tony.
Oh my God.
I am Tony Cook.
Alrighty. Oh, every one of those is going in there.
All right.
We, like always, have a fantastic episode. Every episode's fantastic.
Holy shit, guys.
There's lots of news to talk about. So many things have happened. First and foremost, our World Series documentary. Those are big air quotes. You can't see them because you're listening to this, but I got big old air quotes around that. Our documentary for the World Series is out on Amazon. You can rent it.
Have you seen it? I haven't seen it.
I have. Yeah, you can rent it for $4.99. You can buy it for $12.99. I did buy it because, I'm going to consume every piece of Rangers media. I'm not going to let this one slip through. So it's the same thing that we saw on Bally at the end of the year. I think I didn't see it when they originally aired it, but I
saw a lot of ho-hum reactions to that. I haven't seen it, but
yeah,
that seems to be the consensus.
The quality, filming quality and stuff is done very well, I feel like.
Do we have player interviews in there and
there
stuff?
There are a few, but it's small. They're small. They're small little cutaway testimonials.
We can listen to Corey Seager talk about how good the team is.
You know what is funny? He does have a couple of small little interviews in there, which I thought, we don't get to hear a lot of Corey Seager talk much.
When he won the World Series MVP, his interviews tell us how you did it, Corey Seager. He's like, we got a great team out here. And
I don't know. I guess with it being our only World Series victory to date, I wanted it to be like the Last Dance level. I wanted us to be interviewing Corey Seager, and he's just like, and I took that personal.
Well, he did at the World Series parade, Mr.
Yeah, he did. That was.
Guess we'll never know.
Yeah, that's a nice little jab at the end. The thing it lacks the most is just it could definitely be a more dense look into
more meat, more potatoes.
Yeah, really. And I haven't watched anybody else's World Series documentary, but from what I've heard of other people, it's not near as long, and of course, and like I said, it's not near
like a half
as
hour
in depth.
Or something?
It's 60 minutes, I think. It's about an hour.
Okay.
They used to advertise those things
Like,
right
immediately?
after.
I remember.
What
Yeah.
happened? And it was like Sports Illustrated.
I was
did
like
it
ready
all.
for the commercial as soon as we won. I was
Yeah.
like, show it. I was like, let me see it. Like, pop them champagne bottles. They are ours.
If you guys haven't watched yet, Ranger Savant is doing his own postseason and World Series documentary on YouTube. I think it's going to be a 4-part series. Yeah.
Oh, it's 4 parts.
Yeah, I think it's going to be a
Ooh.
4-part series, and
Okay.
he's done the last 2 parts are out,
Okay.
and they're great. They're wonderful.
Excellent fan quality.
Yeah. So other news out of the winter meetings, we were busy during the winter meetings.
We did things.
We did meet some folks.
We sure did. Right off the bat, of course, everyone knows our native son, Nathan Uvalde, back on the team. 3 years, $75 million.
Houdini is home.
Yes. Evan Grant of the Dallas Morning News. Love Evan. All hail Evan Grant. Had a quote from Uvalde in here. He said, "It was the same vision that brought me back over here. It was about pitching in October and bringing home a World Series title." He went on later to mention, obviously it's multiple titles now that he is coming over here, that we're going to get more than just one in these next 3 years with him. A quick breakdown.
The vision is wide open at this point.
Yeah, it really is. Breakdown of the years. He's going to get $22 million the first year, $29 million the second year, $24 million the third year. So a little bit of
Still shooting for that reset, taking advantage of it.
Yep, absolutely. Secondly, Rangers make a big old trade for a big old bat with Miami for
Big old burger.
Yeah, for first baseman who plays a little bit of third base, but is really going to come over here in DH. That is, Jake Berger. For infielder Shedry Vargas, infielder Max Acosta, and left-handed pitcher Brian Mendoza. Vargas is the main piece of that trade. He was our 17th prospect in the system. Berger is going to provide a huge thump for us.
I gotta say, if this guy does anything positively for this team, I might have to buy a jersey that says burger on it, just because I'm a fat. Like, my big old fat self, I know they're gonna have a burger jersey at my side.
Yeah, I can.
Somebody was saying he should wear number 40 and just be the 40 burger.
Oh man, that'd be great. Yeah, so he just has team control. It's not.
He's pre-arb still at this point.
Yeah,
this is great pickup. It seems
really is, and he's been thumping it a bunch here as far as home runs, and we'll absolutely bring you a more detailed episode on Jake Berger. It is 100% worth mentioning because this was a huge trade for us, something that I did not even have on our radar for doing in the winter meetings. And that was not all. We also signed relief pitcher Jacob Webb to a 1-year, $1.5 million deal. A little bit about him, 31 years old. Got a career 2.98 ERA. Last year, that was a 3.02. Solid.
And a guy who can get outs in the bullpen, and we need exactly that.
Yeah, absolutely.
Precisely that thing.
From Kennedy Landry, a quote from Chris Young. Webb has a track record of being a solid, really good pitcher. He's not a veteran per se in terms of service time, but he is a veteran in terms of being battle tested. We got really good reports on the makeup and felt like he's upgraded our bullpen to add to that.
Yeah, other than obviously the Garver pitch that he gave up in the ALDS. You don't really know much about him. The numbers don't lie there. Those are quality numbers, and at that price tag, I need about 3 or 4 dudes just like him.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
Keep them coming.
Yeah, absolutely.
Like, that's a quality signing right there. I cannot understate that enough.
I want to know what the projection is for Jose Leclerc, and were he to be of similar value to Jacob Webb, would you bring him back on a 1-year deal?
If he's going to get a prove-it deal, it might as well be with us.
Average salary has been around $3 million, but I feel like he's been heftily overpaid.
Yeah, that money's got to come because the last 2 years it was $6 million and then $6.25 million, both club options that we picked up. You could really make a case that 2024 was the prove me deal and he did not prove it. So expectations are certainly low. I don't know if we're getting him for 1.5 or 1.25 what we got Jacob Webb for.
It kind of seems at this point that the relationship may have soured, and it may be beneficial for both parties to do something different there.
With the signing of Nathan Eovaldi, have we priced ourselves out of Kirby Yates at this point, you think?
Kirby Yates is going to make like 12, 14 million, I don't see us being able to sign him now.
We salute you, sir.
We wish you well.
However,
Thank you for last year.
However, when we went into this offseason and we weren't going to be super active in this, it was going to be we're going to bring back Uvalde and maybe make a couple of things. We've made huge splashes over here. So Ray Davis might say, oh, well, screw the luxury tax this year.
If he is still looking to stay beneath the luxury tax threshold, the Jake Berger trade is particularly sneaky because you then make Nathaniel Lowe expendable, and that's what, a $12 million salary?
It's probably about 11, yeah.
Yeah, so I mean, you can save some money there to spend elsewhere.
That's true.
But this isn't the let's get rid of Nate Lowe right now push, but
yeah,
maybe by the trade deadline. Love you, buddy.
I will say that even though we have been fairly splashy during the winter meetings, we're still well under the cap, and we still have money to spend on some more relief arms. I think that's what the rest of it's probably going to go to. We have fortified some bats. We've fortified starting pitching. Oh, by the way, Rōki Sasaki is going to be signed soon. So I was trying to build a starting rotation the other day with Rōki Sasaki and Uvalde and DeGrom and Rocker and Leiter and Malley and Bradford. And I'm like, I don't know how to do it. What do you do? You go to a 7-man rotation?
No, you bolster your bullpen with starter quality arms.
That's true.
My dream, and he would be one heck of an expensive closer at this point, but somehow we pushed John Gray into that role because he's just been lights out every time he's come out of the bullpen.
That's fine. I would love that.
I would love that so much.
I hadn't thought about that at all.
He did it a couple times in the postseason in 2023, and then did it a few times last year, coming back from injury. But he was electric out of the bullpen.
If John Gray moves to the closing role, he's making $13 million a year.
He's only making 13. That's less than I thought.
Which is around what Yates is going to make this year. Obviously, more than what Yates made last year. I think it was like $10 million. But yeah, he would be making the same.
And I believe this is the final year of that deal as well. So
it is. Yeah,
it's already the last year of John Gray's deal. This is that was a 4-year deal, man.
That is crazy.
Time flies.
You never know the mindset with those guys, whether they'd be willing to take on that role on a permanent basis. But
they asked him about it on local radio. He said that he obviously prefers to start, but I'm a team guy kind of thing. I'll do whatever, but definitely would like to start. And I would like him to be such a dominant pitcher that he forces our hand into him starting.
Yeah. The last move that we made during the winter meetings is the one that we're going to talk about at length today, and that is Mr. Kyle Higashioka from the San Diego Padres, signing with the Rangers for a 2-year deal, $13.5 million. There's a 3rd-year mutual option for $7 million and a $1 million buyout. And it was kind of mini backloaded. He's getting 5.75 the first year, 6.75 the second year, and 7 even the third year. That will be his age 35 through 37 baseball years. So Mr. Kyle Higashioka entered the league in 2017. He was 27 years old. His birthday is April 20th. Nice. Drafted in the June amateur draft by the Yankees in 2008. Went in the 7th round out of Edison High School. That is in Huntington Beach, California. He pretty much only played for New York his whole career.
Up until last year?
Yeah, up until the last year where he played in San Diego. That's where we signed him from. He was a free agent. The deal that sent him over to the Padres was the Juan Soto deal in 2023.
Been having good luck with former Yankees lately, so.
Well, yeah. Oh, here's something fun, too. Tom DeLonge from Blink-182 gifted him a guitar last season. He homered in Game 1 of the NLCS while Tom DeLonge was there watching the game. And so during Game 2, I think he had the guitar delivered to the locker room or something. And he can play. Kyle Higashioka's got some guitar chops. I've got the link up here.
There he goes.
And that is... Wow.
That's Iron Maiden.
Yeah, that's Iron Maiden, yeah.
He's over here playing
Bro's got some chops.
Rat and Iron Maiden. Yeah, that's cool. Heck yeah. So yeah, that is just a little bit about Mr. Kyle Higashioka there. He's going to come in here. He's going to be our backup catcher. I do want to get into his offensive stats first here because they're the most intriguing to me after looking up Mr. Kyle Higashioka. Have you guys had a chance to scope him out a bit?
Yes.
Super in-depth stuff, Christopher. We greatly appreciate everything that you give me and Tony and the 12 fans who listen to this. You are a consummate professional.
Fly ball.
Yeah.
God.
Caught.
Oh, my Lord.
I will say it was, I was not expecting to spend this much at the backup catching position.
Me neither.
That being said, getting Kyle Higashioka for the money with which we spent to get the man. Yep. Okay.
That's the right English.
Okay, cool. I was pleasantly surprised. Like, I feel like we got a steal here, and it was money well spent. This may be a 60-40 or a 55-45 split if all goes well. Jonah...
You're talking about their playing time?
Yeah, between Jonah and Kyle here. And I think we saw last year, as far as players that felt like really felt the World Series hangover, Jonah was one of those guys. And so it could be good to get Jonah off his feet a little bit more during the season and have a legitimate backup to spell him.
Yes.
Not because he can't do it, but because he just seems to be that just a little bit better with the rest.
Yeah, he has been that warrior for us for a little while. So
he's the guy. We've been a team historically with great catchers, but the guy who got it done was Jonah Heim.
Yeah, that's true. I think you'll see that I agree with the split and in favor of Jonah, and probably later in the year, I think you will see more of an even 50-50 down the middle, probably all the way up to the All-Star break. Both Kennedy Landry and Evan Grant coming out with articles with similar quotes from Fenstermaker. I see a situation where Higashioka and Heim are going to complement one another, more of a time shared to equal playing time. And then the other quote, kind of a timeshare with close to equal time. So same, but different, but still the same.
I'm one of those people that really think that this team is going to go as far as Jonah Heim goes. I think he's a huge key cog in what we're going to be able to do offensively.
Absolutely.
A return to the offensive dominant team that we've been is going to be largely dependent on his return to his... I mean, he had 95 RBIs in 2013, and he really he cut that in half.
23.
I'm sorry, it's 2013. 2023, pardon me. And he cut that in half last year.
Mm-hmm.
I started to delve into Jonah's stats a little bit, and he wasn't walking much. He kind of got impatient at the plate. It seemed like he was kind of digging his own hole even deeper,
He was
Definitely
pressing. It seemed as though he was pressing.
And so for now, as reading the temperature of the room as you were just doing with our quotes, a timeshare split sounds intriguing.
It sounds exactly like what he needs.
Yeah.
I'm hoping that won't last, and that performance on the field will dictate a more imbalanced setup, and with Jonah returning to
more 70-30
more plate appearances.
I was going to say
75-25.
I think that would be best for Kyle as well, who's a guy who's never had 300 at bats in a season.
Yeah, it looks like his most games played in the majors was 92 in 2023, and God forbid Jonah goes down with an injury. This feels like a solid guy to step in for a while.
Absolutely. So Higashioka said to the MLB Network on the topic of Jonah Heim, when he's at his best, there's no one in the league that's better. I think we'll help each other. I think it's going to be a really good tandem. Wonderful words from the guy who's coming in to split time with the dude who's been absolutely balls out for you. Higashioka came into the league, Came into the league in 2017.
Okay.
He started really getting more consistent.
Cup of coffee, 2017.
He started getting more playing time, more consistent playing time in 2021. That's when he really developed into his full-time backup catcher role. Because before he was
full-time, part-time.
Yeah, full-time, part-time. He's really been a steady bat ever since then, and he's got some recent offensive power surge in that San Diego year last year.
The OPS went from I'm a backup catcher to I'm a backup catcher with a good bat.
Yeah.
Those numbers are 687 in 2023 to 739 in 2024.
You'll kind of see this trend as we're going through some of these stats. Even though 2024 was such a bigger power year for him, it was weirdly an efficient hitting season for him, and just how the quality of how he was hitting and where the ball was being placed within the field. So I will say one weird thing about his WAR is that in 2023, his WAR was worse. It was negative 0.3 compared to 1.4 last season, but his batting stats are almost identical. The one thing that's different is he got the 7 more home runs.
Dim home runs give you dim wins,
Yeah.
baby. Woo!
Pretty sure it's because he fell back defensively based on some of the things that I looked up earlier.
Which is to be expected, a guy approaching his mid to late 30s here.
Yeah. So in those last 4 seasons, he's consistently hit 10 home runs, 2021, 22, and 23, 10 home runs all 3 of those years. Last year, he had those 17 home runs. That was a career high for him. He also had a couple of clutch postseason home runs.
Yes.
Like I mentioned, that one that he hit where he got that Tom DeLonge gift.
Not just postseason, though. If you get 45 RBIs off of 246 plate appearances, that's clutch hitting.
Yeah.
And that's assuming this is the guy in the lower third of your lineup as well, so fewer opportunities with guys on base, so that's still impressive.
Yeah, that accounts for that kind of like just efficient style hitting that he did. When he was hitting last year, it was in the right times and doing the right things.
You know, and in the event that I was talking about earlier with Jonah Heim coming back to form, in the event that Higashioka is also playing well, he's a guy that you could manufacture some 20 to 40 more at-bats a year in late game situations, filling in for somebody, big moments, you know?
Yeah.
He's a guy who's proven that can do that. I think that could be a good way to get him some extra at-bats.
This is a good pickup. This is a really good pickup.
This really is. I want to get in a little nerdy with some of these stats because I did dive into some of these. So into his hard hit percentage, it dropped 11% from 2023, even though despite having more home runs.
That's wild.
But his slug did increase it from 413 in 2023 to 476 last season. That would be his highest, not counting the COVID year. Obviously his ground ball to fastball ratio flip-flopped last year, it flip-flopped from 2023 to last year. He hit way less ground balls last season because he hit more fly balls. Duh. All those 17 home runs.
So to me, this indicates that he's hitting more pop-ups. Is that how this can, if you take his hard hit percentage dropping 11%, and then him also dropping in his ground ball percentage, either I'm getting a hold of it and it's going out of the yard, or I'm hitting a fly ball. Is that what this is?
Yeah, it sounds like a strategic change to
The approach at the plate?
Yes.
Whoever got a hold of him in San Diego and says, we're going to capitalize on that power you have, sir. Good move. I see you, AJ Preller.
Because I'm okay with you going from 235 to 220 if you're hitting more dingers.
Oh, yeah, I'll take that, especially if you're my backup catcher.
So his spray, I guess, percentage or chart where he's putting the ball on the field, left field, center field, right field. He was has typically been a dead center hitter with pull tendency, not really going oppo that much. In 2024, he evened those out quite a bit. His center field percentage in 2023 was 55 and then down to 43 last season. His pull percentage was 31 in 2023 and then up to 40 last season. So he kind of even those out, not having to go to deep center field, which is 396 in Petco Park for the Padres for half his games, is nice when you're only having to go, 334, 357 in left field at Petco Park.
So if you are a right-handed hitter and you're pulling the ball, that means you're hitting it to left field?
Yes.
We're coming for you, Crawford boxes.
Yeah, we are. Yeah, absolutely we are. Another cool note about the spray chart is his oppo percentage was the highest it's ever been at 16.1. So did get the occasional oppo taco, which is cool.
We're coming for you, short porch in Yankee Stadium.
Yeah. And then lastly, to round out these kind of nerdy stats here, his handedness, how he hits the left and righties, it's pretty much even. He does favor lefties a little bit more, probably about 10 to 20 points any given season. Last year, it oddly flip-flopped. He hit lefties worse than he hit righties. He also had his worst lefty-righty splits that of all time. It was 198 against lefties and 209 against righties. Despite having a good offensive year, it comes back to the guy, when he hit, it was efficient, and he did the most that he did the most with the ball when he was hitting it, which is, I think he's going to turn into a fan favorite around here. especially with the amount of playing time he's going to get, people are going to see him a lot. It's not going to be Sam who? Who is that?
Hey, he got that 80 grade power, though. When Sam Huff hit a home run, Sam Huff hit a home run. But when Sam Huff did not hit a home run, he struck out every time.
Did y'all see the minor league signing that we had with Tucker Barnhart?
Yeah, that was solid as well.
That kind of eliminates a roster spot for Sam Huff, man.
Yeah, it's been fun, but I mean, he first came up in 2020. It's been 5-6 years.
He's out of options as well.
Is he really?
Yes.
Oh, man.
Ooh.
One other cool thing about Higashioka is you're not going to have to worry about striking out too much or not walking enough. He's pretty much around league average where that is concerned. He's got a walk rate about 5%. League average is about 8%. And then he's got a strikeout percentage of 26%. You want that to be around 20%. So it's a little bit more than what you want it to be, negligible at best. So
the on-base percentage did go down from 274 in 2023 to 263 in 2024. That's always excusable if you're hitting more home runs.
More home runs, yeah.
But it being sub 300, that would be his weak spot overall.
It looks like that 260, so the last 3 seasons, 264, 274, 263, that's his peak probably for on-base percentage. It is certainly for his career.
I want to see how that compares to Jonah.
I see it here. On-base percentage for Jonah Heim career is 285, where Higashioka's is 255. While Higashioka has been at his peak the last 3 seasons, so has Jonah Heim, where Jonah Heim's on-base percentage the last 3 seasons was 298, 317,
Our
267.
starting catcher's good.
Yeah.
I mean, he was the starter in the 2023 All-Star game, and deservedly so. I know people were pushing for old Rutschman, but we got a good starting catcher, y'all.
And this is with the
The out year he had last year
included in all these stats.
Just the 6.3 WAR, like compared to Higashioka's 2.2, and Jonah Heim's been in the league for less years. Him good.
I keep thinking about those 95 RBI, and I'm like, just come back.
Higashioka did steal his first 2 bases last year. The only bases he's ever successfully stolen. I think
your horse.
I think he's been caught stealing before. But yeah, got 2 of them last year. So that's always fun to see a guy steal a bag who doesn't normally steal one.
I think it was Beltre who, like the last 5 seasons of his career, would steal 1 bag a year. It's like so Travis Jankowski and his home runs. I'm just going to hit 1 home run a year.
Higashioka, I don't think it really matters, but it's worth noting, can speak Japanese. From California, but he can speak Japanese.
Rōki Sasaki?
Could he be Rōki Sasaki's personal catcher?
If it was any other position other than catcher, it would just be a nothing. He speaks Japanese.
Yeah.
But the fact that he would be a battery mate with Sasaki, you would presumably assume, yes, that he would be Sasaki's catcher every 5th day.
It's a very small tidbit, but it's
breadcrumbs.
It would just be something to bridge the gap.
Yeah.
Just a little home at home here.
You want 2 cherries on top? You got it. So defensively, Mr. Higashioka, his fielding percentage is consistently at or under league average. It's within 10 points. When it's within the 10 points, it's usually under, but average. So he's going to be average at fielding. That's for his career.
Definitely a bat first player, it feels like.
Yeah, I think so. He's had some flashes of good defense. The range factor is a stat that kind of measures a player's fielding ability by calculating the number of defensive plays that they make in the game. It's your standard metric. It's almost like your defensive WAR, I would say. I was trying to figure out how to rate this guy defensively. So in 2021, he had a breakout overall defensively. 2022 had some residual breakout, still not like his 2021 numbers. He kind of returned back to normal, that kind of just average player in 2023 and 2024 as far as defensive production goes. In that 2021 season, he was 8th overall in range factor per 9. Caught stealing and stolen base numbers are interesting because, he's a catcher. You want to know how many guys are running on him and if he can gun some guys down at at second base. In 2021, this is, again, his kind of coming out party. I'm starting with the 2021 season. He was kind of middle in the pack for caught stealing, about in the 25th percentile for stolen bases. Not really that great. Sorry, that's bottom 25th percentile for stolen base. He got stolen a lot.
They was running.
Yeah, in 2022...
Making him look like a Rob Barajas.
Yeah, in 2022, those flip-flops. So he was top 20th percentile in caught stealing, which, great. That was good stuff, but he went back
None shall pass.
Yeah, and then was middle of the pack for stolen bases. So
Some shall pass.
So some shall pass.
2023 and 2024, as we saw with his overall defensive output, he returned pretty much to league average in both of those regards, which is good for the stolen bases. He's not getting stolen a ton anymore.
I just don't need him to be a liability there. If you're getting 50-50, I'm okay with that.
Yeah.
It's the, I'm going to run on you and you know I'm going to run on you and there's nothing you can do about it, nanny, nanny, boo-boo.
Yeah.
That's when it gets frustrating.
And it's weird because this might be a situation where he pretty much returned to league average regarding these stats the last two seasons because he might have been taking more chances behind the plate. He committed the most errors at the catching position in 2024 and the second most passed balls in 2024 and had the fifth most errors at the catching position in 2023.
Ouch.
So
okay.
I wonder, is there like a knuckleball pitcher for the Padres?
Well, he did it with New York and
well.
the Padres, so I don't know what was going on there.
I mean, the Padres have Dylan Cease. I mean, that ball would scare me coming as fast as it does.
I'm
hoping those are anomaly.
that there was just somebody on their staff that he just couldn't see well coming out of their hand, but neither could the other catcher, and so he's got to do it. You know, hopefully there's some extenuating circumstance that led to that, because it's
concerning.
Eye-opening.
It's concerning because you don't want your when the catcher is the person who's making the play. It's, I would say, the most significant, because if he's screwing it up, a run is typically getting scored.
Yeah, especially if that runner's at third and there's a pass ball.
Yeah, obviously, I was going to say, for the caught stealing and stuff is not as bad if he's like launching it over the second baseman. However, if there's somebody on, or rather, if you just launch it over the second baseman, you're just giving up one bag. But if you're making errors at the plate, that means runs are scoring. I'm not terribly worried about it. We're going to see.
Does this mean we need to carry a third catcher on the roster?
I don't think
potentially as a defensive replacement.
Probably
he's going to be.
Well, I don't know if Barnhart would be that at his age.
I would say even with even with the weird being on the worst, being on the bottom 5 list or the top 5 for a bad stat.
They're all still major leaguers.
Yeah.
They're all going to be good at it.
Yeah, because overall defensively, like I said, he's still at league average. And it's despite being bad at those two things over the last 2 seasons, he's still put up good numbers behind the dish.
Still loving the signing.
Yeah. Overall, I think we're all in on this guy. The contract says so. We were talking about how surprised we were that we were actually spending this kind of money. I thought we were going to come back and get Carson Kelly, who I think just went to the Cubs.
I think he got like 1.1 a year, something like that.
And that's
what we were seeing.
Yeah, that's exactly what I thought we were going to do. So that is a testament to how confident we are in this Higashioka's ability to catch and hit. There's certainly a chance that his batting even gets better, or last year's 17 home run season was less of a fluke and more
a harbinger of things to come.
Yeah, with our new batting coach Veal and Ecker and that whole staff. But even if he just remains consistent, even if he just goes back to the 10 home runs a year, I love that from a backup catcher.
Fine.
Absolutely.
Just a quick correction for me. Kelly's pact with the Cubs is worth $11.5 million guaranteed.
For 1 year?
He's getting $5 million in each of 25 and 26, and has a $7.5 million mutual option for 27.
This is a 2-year deal?
Yes.
If he's getting $5 million from the Cubs, I'm feeling even better.
Yeah,
about this Higashioka
way better.
deal.
Yeah, because I was not paying Carson Kelly. I think I said $1.5 million was what I was gonna do.
Sorry, Carson.
Hey, have fun on the Cubs.
Hey, he was better than Andrew
Kisner.
Wah, wah.
I feel really good about this signing. The Rangers feel really good about Higashioka, and just take a look at some of the guys who are still out there, and even some of the contracts that have been signed. Tony, you were saying Danny Jansen. Good Lord, got $8.5 million.
Yes.
Gary Sanchez also got $8.5 million. Both
Like,
these are two guys
what?
that we talked about. That no way.
Who?
1 year
No,
deals.
Baltimore. Who's the new team? Yeah, he's Baltimore. What is you doing, baby?
Gary Sanchez?
I am not giving Gary Sanchez $8.5 million. I'm sorry.
I tell you, I would have given Austin Hedges $4 million.
Yep.
I would have given him $6 million because I just love him.
I just like that.
Cleveland
dude.
was so smart to bring him back. But then, as far as who hasn't signed yet, so really the only guy making close to around what we paid Kyle Higashioka is James McCann, 34.5-year-old, which is he'll be the same age as Higashioka, but he's predicted to make about around 10.
And I'm not trying to sign Elias Diaz.
Yeah, Elias Diaz down there at $1 million. Kirk Caselli for $1 million. Yasmani Grandal, 2.5. Luke Maley, is that how you say his last name?
Yes.
Yeah, 3.5. We made an incredible get here, guys. We really did. Even though the Kyle Higashioka's value is the highest value of all of the catchers who have signed so far at $13.5 million over 2 years. Just underneath him, Travis d'Arnaud was $12 million for 2 years. I probably would have given d'Arnaud that contract. I would have been happy with that.
I would have almost rather have had d'Arnaud.
The Carson Kelly is the one that is the oddball out here. 11.5 for $2 million, especially coming off of. I'm guessing they're thinking bounce back for him, and of course he's just a backup catcher. But yeesh. I would love to get y'all's predictions
For
on
Higgy?
Yeah, for Higgy.
What's he gonna do?
What's he gonna
all right,
do?
you want batting average, home runs, and RBIs?
Yeah, let's do. Hold on, I want to.
Oh,
we'll
yeah,
have to make a note.
yes.
So we can
We
go
come
back.
back at the end, yeah.
So let me let me pull it up. We'll pick a few different stat categories that we want.
Mr. Baloney, you gonna go first?
Tony, you want to go first for games played? How many you think?
I'm going to go 74.
I'm going to undercut you a little bit, Tony. I'm going to say 69.
Nice.
Christopher, what do you have for games played?
55.
Taking the lowest one of all of us. Okay. All right, Tony, how about batting average?
231.
Getting back into the 230s. I think last year was just a little bit of a dip. I like that. I'm going to say I'll go a little bit better, 233.
225.
Okay. On base, Tony?
275. I'm going to do 275.
275. I'm going to do 270. Chris?
Krish.
Oh, Chris.
Christmas.
I'm gonna say he does exactly what he does last year. 263.
What's he slugging, Tony?
A little dip there. We're going to go 438.
Okay. I think he might get real close to replicating his slugging percentage for next year. I'm going to say 465.
450.
All right. So, Tony, the
It's the
next
big
one
one.
is home runs. What are you doing for homers?
12.
Slight dip for me, 15. What do you got, Christopher?
10.
10, going back to the 10. That's good. We're all still in double digits, and I'm super happy with that. If he hits 10, even if he only plays, especially if he plays 55 games
yeah.
from you.
So the rate's going to be there. I don't know what the games is going to be there.
Yeah. All right, so our next one is his stolen bases. Anyone think he's going to steal anything? 1 from Tony.
1.
1 from Christopher. I say none. I don't think he's going to steal any bases. All right. And then the last one, how many errors we think he's going to commit behind the dish.
Less games, less opportunities. It's got to come down from 9. 5.
5 errors.
5 of them things.
I think Jonah's going to really get him under control with it. I'm going to go even lower. I'm going to say 3. Christopher, how many errors is Kyle Higashioka committing?
I need him to commit fewer errors, and I need Jonah to do exactly what you just said. So I'm going to split the difference. Let's say the man does 4.
Okay.
Let's all hope for some improvement here.
Yeah. Okay. Good stuff all around for Mr. Higashioka. I'm looking very forward to seeing this guy play. I think he's going to turn into a fan favorite. I think we're going to see him hit some like clutch bombs and walk-off situations, and we're going to see people wearing his jersey. Because he's going to be here for a little while. So.
When's the last time you felt this good about our backup catcher?
A long time.
Probably since you brought it up. Didn't we have Gerald Laird and Barajas around the same time? If those
I'm
two
sorry,
ever combine,
this question implies that you feel good about the starting catcher.
That's a good point. That's a very good point.
Which there's a lot of good starting catching in our history, but like, I mean,
Trainer maybe.
yeah, I mean when
Matt
we had
Trainer.
Benji and Trainer, like,
Yeah, that's
it's been
probably
that
it.
long because I didn't feel great about your Vittori Alba. You guys remember your Vittori Alba?
Ugh.
Oh man,
If Kyle ends up doing something good, can we say he's whipping up some Higashioka pudding? Is that can we go ahead and
Are you trying to portmanteau tapioca and Higashioka?
Higashioka.
y'all like pitching depth?
I mean, I do. With Kyle Higashioka coming over, like I said, having him be Rōki Sasaki's personal catcher would be incredible. But it does add a small problem, a good problem, that we're going to have a ton of pitching depth if we land Rōki as well.
We've got considerable pitching depth. In fact, I can't recall a time where we had as much starting pitching depth as we have at the moment. It's a miracle. What air conditioning, is that what they call that invention?
That
what
is.
they can do, what that can do for you if you are a major league
Why
team.
did it take so long? Why?
We needed a roof. We got a roof, and all of a sudden the pitchers start signing here. I mean, it helps when you're giving them $185 million over 5 years.
That's true.
Jacob deGrom. But you signed, and you're healthy, and let's look at how deep our rotation can potentially be. Keep in mind, if we do sign Rōki Sasaki, it's most assuredly going to be a 6-man rotation, so we've got that depth as well.
Hell, it could be a 7-man rotation.
Ooh.
We could push it if there were 8 days a week like the Beatles wanted.
8 days a week.
We could push it to 8 days.
At the tippy tap, the greatest pitcher in modern day baseball with Jacob deGrom.
Yes.
Genius.
After deGrom, you have Houdini himself.
Yes. God, that just the 1-2 punch. DeGrom,
Oof.
Eovaldi 1-2 punch.
It's filthy. After deGrom, you have John Gray.
Are you for sure putting John Gray number 3? I think you can make an argument that they might. Rocker could be third. They could give Bradford or Malley third. Hell, if Rōki Sasaki comes over, he's probably number 3, right?
I would think to start the season, they would let John Gray have that spot.
I'm fine with that, yeah.
And then
I'm totally
any
okay
one
with
of those
him.
guys could pitch their way into or out of that spot as well.
Yeah.
You've got, of the guys you have, the only one who profiles as a legitimate back of the rotation pitcher as opposed to somebody who's a solid middle of the rotation pitcher is potentially Jack Leiter. He feels like that man's floor is obviously very low. His ceiling is high, but we've seen where the floor can go. Aside from him, though, the rest of them, they all feel like number 3s. I mean, John Gray feels like a solid number 3 on most teams. Tyler Malley feels like a number 3. Kumar Rocker could be amazing, but it seems like the floor is pretty much a number 3 because that what he likes to call a curveball is the filthiest curveball I think I've ever seen in my entire life. And then, you still have Dane Dunning hanging around.
I think Dane Dunning is forever going to be a bull. I don't think we're ever going to see him.
Unless barring
Injuries, barring bad things happening too, then that's the only way he's going to get into the rotation, I feel like.
There are good log jams and bad log jams.
This is a great log
This
jam.
is a good log jam to have as far as who's vying for the middle of the rotation spot here.
Yeah. Who's going to be solidly pitching behind deGrom and Eovaldi consistently and not have to worry about their spot.
And when you don't have a guy that, for better or worse, doesn't separate himself from the pack as far as this is concerned, do the practical decision and just sandwich your lefty in the middle of all of these right-handed
Mr.
pitchers.
Cody.
Just put Cody Bradford in there as the 3, just for that reason alone.
I'd be fine. Yeah.
I have no notes on that.
That way
That's
you get a
great.
lefty in just about every series that way.
Yeah, for sure. And then so I guess you would follow that up. Malley's got great stats. It's hard for me to choose between like just these 3 guys, like who's going to go 3, 4, 5. It's between Malley, it's between Rocker, it's between Bradford. They all have high ceilings, I feel like. They all have...
Bradford being the lefty feels like his spot's pretty solid, but it feels very much like it's Kumar Rocker's to lose in the sense that if it's going well, he's going to be pitching every 5th day, and if it doesn't go well, he has the options. He can easily be sent down to Round Rock.
So we're at least in agreement that between these 3 guys, that's going to be your number 4 starter, really. Because if we're doing John Gray
yeah.
third, then these guys are going to be 4, 5, and 6. Let's not, and then again, I'm going to bring him up again. If we get Rōki Sasaki, that really, really throws a huge wrench into this, because there's also Jack Leiter, who...
That's when you have trade pieces.
And
Someone's getting shipped out.
Yeah,
Anybody but Rocker.
No, Rocker's not going in.
No,
Anybody
Rocker's
but
not going in.
Rocker.
No.
I think it'll be...
Because here's my take on Rocker is I want Rocker to work out as a starting pitcher. There's a high possibility with him having had 2 Tommy Johns already that he may end up in the bullpen at some point. If your last name is Rocker, you have to be the closer. I need this in my life. So if it doesn't work out in the rotation.
I knew he had some height. I didn't realize how large a man he is.
That is a big man.
Yeah,
He's listed at 6'5", 245. That is by far the heaviest member of this roster.
He's a large boy.
And we have a man named Burger.
And Jack Leiter, where do you put him? I'd love for him to be starting.
He
I
can
don't
go
know
wherever his talent takes him. Because like if you're sucking, you're not on the team. If you're middling, like you can maybe have a bullpen spot. And if you're lights out, then yeah, you could start.
I think his role is
You could
going
have a
to
wild
be
spring.
Yeah,
You got a lot of eyes on him in spring.
I think it's going to be long man role, priority number 1, and then when there's the opportunity to have him start, he will be the first choice. John Gray, I don't know where he's going to be halfway through the season, so he could be moving out of the bullpen. Leiter could be moving up from the bullpen at that time. Did I mention that Rōki Sasaki is still available?
God, if we pull that off,
And that money doesn't count towards the cap.
Yeah, or well, the signing bonus doesn't count towards the cap, and he's making league minimum for 3 years, and then you've got him for ARB for 3 years.
I want more.
I do want more.
And I know I shouldn't.
Some team is going to get very lucky.
Yeah. Chris Young has said that we're not done. The big one out there is Rōki Sasaki.
I was always a JD fan. I never had anything against JD. But man, Chris Young just knows how to
He really does
steal a man's heart. I got a certain affinity for oak trees.
It's just like his ninja negotiating style and tactics with how he talks to the public and how he talks with Ray Davis behind doors. It's so mysterious. It's like Prince-like almost. You have no idea what this man's going to do.
And all of a sudden, bam!
Yeah. It's 1999. Everybody, it was a fantastic time to spend with you this evening, this morning, afternoon, weekday, weekend, whatever time and day you're listening to us.
The glory of podcasts.
Yeah, we are so glad that you did it here with us, the Ranger Zone. Next week, I think we're going to talk a little bit about Jake Berger. We'll do another profile episode on him. So you can get
the shakedown on a burger.
Yeah, the shakedown on a burger. But he is another very interesting player that we got during the winter meetings that absolutely deserves his own episode here on the Zone. So from our lips to your ears, it will be happening. As always, you guys can follow us on Instagram and YouTube and Twitter at Ranger Zone Pod. That is at Ranger Zone Pod. You can also listen to the Ranger Zone anywhere that you listen to your podcasts. We there for you.
Girl.
Thank you once again, everybody, for listening to the Ranger Zone. I am Robbie Belusic.
I am Chris Green.
I am Tony Cook.
And that is the way the baseball goes.